Welcome back. It's time for Media Watch on France 24, and James Creedon joins us with all the top stories in the international media. Good evening.
Hi, Lana.
We start with a big debate amongst American journalists over children who cry on planes. We've all been in that situation, haven't we?
Exactly. And I suppose some of us are more tolerant than others. Now, there was an article on the New York Times, Lana, at the start of this month. Are we there yet when families fly? Now, that article, it was at the very beginning of the month, and at the end of the month, we're now at the end of November, journalists in the US are still discussing this. It seems to have really hit on a nerve. So let's just see what some very serious journalists have been saying about this issue. A lot of them probably have children. Over at Forbes magazine, you've got Eric Jackson, who says that he is sick of single people and childless people complaining about children on planes. It's time for them to grow up. So
has this turned into a face-off of sorts between families and single people?
It seems to. I think more people at the moment in favour of children with babies, but maybe they're the ones who are writing actually have babies. At Foreign Policy, the very serious journalist Daniel Dresner says that children are the rogue states of travel. So he's trying to sound like he's doing his job, but actually he's just taking part in a debate that has nothing to do with foreign policy. Anyway, at The Economist, you've got E.G. Austin, who says one of his big fears is being the proprietor of a screaming child. But I suppose the star of this debate really is Meghan McArdle at The Atlantic, who absolutely went wild on Twitter defending the cases or the single people who are annoyed by this. So let's have a look at some of the things she said.
What's her argument?
Well, she's saying that I think she's being a little bit unreasonable. She's saying people who have screaming children should not take planes, they should drive, which isn't always possible.
That's a bit rough, I would say.
I think so. So she's saying that they should choose alternative methods of transport. You're inflicting your screaming child on people. That if you're taking the subway, you can get off if there's a screaming child and get onto the next train. You can't do that if you're on a plane. So let's have a look at some of her tweets. Humans are evolved to be very, very attentive to screaming babies. You can't ignore them. That's why it's annoying. She goes on to say it's unpleasant and parents are the ones who decided to put their babies there.
I like this one. She proposes making parents buy everyone on the flight cocktails.
Right. She's like, okay, bring your screaming child on.
That's a good peace offering.
I think I could deal with that. Why is it terrible to say a parent should have to be considerate of others while children are small and disruptive? And she goes on and on and on, literally dozens of tweets about this. And the last one that I chose is being embarrassed because you have discomforted others is laudable, but it does not somehow cancel out your infliction. So even for embarrassed parents, she has zero sympathy.
I think that's a little harsh. Meanwhile, a bit of a similar story, isn't it? A racist rant on a London tramway has been caught on video. It's gone viral. The video is pretty impressive.
It really is. It's had over 3,438,000 people have looked at this video, and actually just earlier this afternoon it was 2.6 million. So at the moment it's going like that. This video has really kind of caught people's imaginations. It's on a tram in London. It's a woman giving a racist rant. Let's take a look at it and then we'll discuss a little bit more afterwards.
Go back to where you come from. Go back to side or wherever you come from. I work, this is my British country. Until we let you lot come over.
So what? So what is your British country? What so what?
Yeah, it's my British country.
Not because we black. Not because
British.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
You ain't British, you're black. You're black. You ain't British, you're black.
It's pretty troubling. What have reactions been like?
Incredible. You're not British, you're black, she said. So in other words, you can't be British and black. I mean, pretty extraordinary. As you would understand, as you would expect, she has become a hate figure of sorts. A lot of people saying that she's an awful woman, the epitome of racism. And you can see that there was even a witch hunt out for her in some respects. People tweeting, like, if you can identify this woman, tell the police, because somebody caught it on a mobile phone. You're never safe these days, of course. Now, The Sun and other British media...
She might get into a lot of trouble over this.
She did, in fact. She was brought into police custody earlier today, and she's been identified. Her name, her age. She's a 34-year-old woman.
And all that has been published.
All of that is out in the public domain. You have my tram experience has been trending massively on Twitter. You have other people putting up videos of similar incidents. So really, it's become the spiral of debate about people being racist on trams. And of course, it's generated a lot of debate too about where British society is going, where maybe even European societies are going. Have we reached a limit in terms of what people can be allowed to do should this be tackled.
Especially
so obviously
when everything can potentially be filmed. Not that this is justifiable in any way, of course, but now her name is out in the public, as you said.
Absolutely, she's been named and shamed, and a lot of people have been calling for that. Now, others are saying, look, you know, as is always the case with these viral videos, we're only seeing what happened in that particular space of time. It's about a 2-minute video. What happened to this woman earlier in the day? What is her life story? We don't really know. So I suppose it's very easy to make a hate figure of somebody for one, you know, horrendous moment.
Her speech was clearly hate speech.
Awful, indeed.
There's no way around it.
So I suppose what people are, you know, what some people are saying, look, we just don't know. And I thought one interesting tweet on this came from a guy who is clearly of Indian or South Asian background. And he says, we can carry on condemning the MyTram experience woman, but must recognise the wider context, a person who does not feel like she belongs. So others are saying, look, whatever about the racist rant, it was a racist rant. Let's try to understand what pushes somebody to behave in this way. I mean, it's not, you know, as we can see in this tweet earlier, they're saying, you know, is there a factory producing these people? And some are saying, well, no, it's not a factory, it's a society with a lot of problems.
They need to think about it. Well,
Absolutely.
that's, I think, a very tolerant reaction.
Right, and I suppose it just shows the level of debate that has been produced around it.
Thanks very much,
Thanks,
James Creedon. That was Media Watch on France 24.